Good evening, and I welcome you, students. Very important topic is on the board, and you can see that hydrogen. Hydrogen is a very important element, but simplest because you know H. It has the atomic number is one. It is the lightest element, students, and as such, if I write one at one, what it means, student? It has one proton and one electron. And in the universe, it is the most abundant element. Hydrogen is lightest and most abundant in the universe. On the stars and the sun, student, what you have? Hydrogen. But it cannot exist like this in the elemental form. It exists as H2, dihydrogen. Dihydrogen, student, dihydrogen. So we know that what happens, students. This bond is very strong and stable, as we know. The electron configuration of the hydrogen can be written as 1s1. The question which is important about hydrogen, we already know, student, position of hydrogen in the periodic table. This is a controversial situation, that what and where hydrogen should be placed in the periodic table, or they ask question, student, justify the position of hydrogen in the periodic table. Justify position of H in periodic. What it means, why we are talking of that, students? What is the reason? The reason is that hydrogen, for example, some of the questions which are raised here, what is the position of hydrogen in the periodic table? Why is position of hydrogen in periodic table controversial, student? How can you justify the position of hydrogen in group 1? Why does hydrogen occupy a top position in the periodic table? These are some of the questions which are put to us, students, in various exams and various other places. The important point to note is, student, as I said, the electronic configuration of hydrogen is, student, 1s1. It resembles with, tell me which group it resembles. It resembles with
alkali
metal.
metals.
That is group 1, student. Group 1 have ns1 configuration. Group 1 has ns1 configuration. Therefore, we can say that if it is saying why is the position justified in group 1, student, but and you know that these elements will immediately lose an electron. These alkali metals, you know what they do, students? They lose one electron because then it becomes a stable noble gas configuration, students.
Yes, sir.
And if you say hydrogen will lose one electron, then what it will become, students? This is very difficult proposition, because H plus is a bare, it doesn't have any electron, student, and is the smallest in size. This H plus is smallest in size. The size of H plus is very small, students, and this loss of electron results in nucleus, which is 1.5 into 10 minus 3 picometer. And it cannot exist as such. It's not going to exist as it. So extremely small compared to atomic and ionic sizes are around 50 to 200 picometer, and H plus can never exist free. And you know, in water also, what happens, students? It immediately combines with H2O and combines with H3O4. Then we can see that the behavior of hydrogen is very unique. It is something what we are talking is a unique behavior, students. But if I compare the student with the halogens, what is the halogen? Which group I'm talking of, students? Group 17 are
Group
halogens.
17.
X, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. What is the general electron configuration? NS2.
NH2 NP5.
They need one electron to complete, student. So they form X minus, student, and hydrogen also can gain one electron to form H minus. This is 1s1, this is 1s2. So therefore, hydrogen will show resemblance with halogens because metal can form unipositive ions, and this is what we call as a hydride ion. Hydride ion. And you can see that hydrogen has resemblance with the alkali metals. It has resemblance with the alkali metals. What we are trying to tell you, student, the unique behavior of hydrogen. Atom, student. On one side, you are saying you have group 1 alkali metal, students. On the other side, you have halogens, group 17, students, and S2 and P5. This is NS1. This is NS1. So hydrogen, same electron configuration, same valence shell electron configuration, 1s1. So has a resemblance with alkali metals, but they lose one electron and form this. And hydrogen can gain one electron to form H minus, like the halogens. And also we know what are the types of the compound, student. Oxides. What oxides you are forming? H2O. Sulfides and halides, students. HX, HCl, HBr, like halides. They are similar to, you have N2O, N2S, students, and NaCl. So they can also form such halides, oxides, and sulfides like this. But unlike alkali metal, the ionization enthalpy of hydrogen, unlike but these are metals. These are metal, student, possesses metallic conductor under normal conditions. But ionization enthalpy of hydrogen is very high. That means to remove one electron, you will need very large amount of energy, student. For example, delta IH for lithium. Lithium is an alkali metal, 520 kilojoule per mole, students. And hydrogen is, for hydrogen, delta IH is equal to, student, 1312, which is very large value, kilojoule per mole. So you can see the difference is there. Whereas for fluorine, I see the ionization enthalpy, student, which is 1680 kilojoule per mole. Is the first ionization enthalpy. The first ionization enthalpy. So you can see the difference, students, that the ionization enthalpy of hydrogen is more close to that of the halogens, and therefore, student, halogens form Cl, FBr, or they form Cl2, Br2, and hydrogen also behaves like this. They form H2 molecules, student, diatomic molecules. And also it combines with elements to form hydrides. Hydrides are known, student, you are aware of hydrides. there are different type of hydrides, covalent, ionic, and metallic type of hydrides are known to us, and large number of covalent compounds in terms of the reactivity. Okay? There are other
Okay.
compounds also, but the reactivity of these compounds is very low as compared to halogens. But the reactivity of hydrogen compounds is low. Therefore, student, you can see that this hydrogen shows a resemblance to both of them, and it differs to them also, as you have seen, because you cannot form H plus, whereas you can form Na plus because of the small size. Therefore, student, there is always a controversy and regarding the position of the hydrogen, whether it should be placed in group 1 or in group 17. But in the periodic table, you see they have placed it somewhere on the left hand side, or sometimes in between, because of the resemblance with the two groups, as we have seen. All right, this was about the position of the hydrogen, which is based on the facts electron configuration. Hydrogen is the first element. Its electron configuration is 1, as due to the presence of only one electron, hydrogen exhibits a dual behavior. It resembles both alkali and halogen, student. We already told you how it resembles with alkali metals and like how it resembles with halogens. So you have seen what type of oxides, H2O, H2S, HCl, etc. Student, they are being formed. And so you already know that the alkali metals, they are forming oxides, they are forming sulfides, and they are forming similar type of halides. And electron configuration, already know NS1 for both of them. And for halogens, you know, they are existing as H2, it is existing as H2. And hydrogen can form H minus, they can form X minus, and ionization enthalpy you have seen of hydrogen is closer to halogens. So this is important point in the case of question on this has been asked many times. Further important things about the hydrogen, that we have been talking about isotopes in chemistry, student, and the position of hydrogen. First of all, it is the lightest element, but what is important that there are 3 isotopes of hydrogen, students. This is your deuterium, student. This is called tritium. Deuterium or tritium T. Now, you are aware of the uses of this also. This percentage is very small and is radioactive. One of the isotope which is radioactive for the hydrogen is tritium, students. And they differ in respect to the difference is where, student? This has only one proton and one electron, and now you will get one proton, one neutron, and one electron. And what you get here, one proton, two neutron, and one electron. So students, see, they differ in the neutron, student, from each other. There are the difference in the presence of the neutrons. So we understand the chemical properties, not, but the physical properties will be very much different. Physical properties. The physical properties are related, student, and the rates of the reactions will change. Isotope labeling is a very important technique which is used when instead of hydrogen, I will use deuterium. What will happen, student? It is heavier, and you are aware of the heavy water and the uses of heavy water also, but how difficult it is to get heavy water. You already know, and here is a table to get some more information about hydrogen, students. See the relative abundance, 99.985%. This is 0.051. You can see 10 minus 15, students. Very, very trace amounts, very trace amounts. So how difficult it will be to get it. Relative atomic mass in gram 1.0, you can see 2 and 3. Melting points, you can see the increasing. Melting point in Kelvin 13.96, 18. So as they become more heavier, the melting point is increasing. Why the melting point is increasing? Because as the number of particle increases, the mass is increasing. Student, what is happening? Van der Waals force is increasing. So melting point, boiling point also you see in Kelvin, student 20.39, 23, 25, increasing student with increase in mass. Melting point, boiling point increasing with increase in mass. Enthalpy of fusion, student. What is the enthalpy of fusion, student? When you go from solid to liquid or liquid to solid, what is happening? 0.117, and with increase in mass, the value has increased. Vaporization enthalpy, as you can see, there is an increase, student. This is radioactive, so we don't have data for that. And you can see how much it is present, how difficult it is to use it and get it. Enthalpy of bond dissociation, 435, 443. That means it will require more energy to dissociate this bond, student. Internuclear distance 74.14, 74.14. Ionization enthalpy not here. 1312. Electron gain enthalpy, covalent radius. Compounds are not known, students. We are not working on that. H minus 208 picometer. So you can see these are the comparison of the three isotopes of the iron. But you know which isotope is in great demand and use. They have same chemical property, but the rates of reaction. If I talk of the rates of reaction, student, what will happen? Rates of reaction, what will happen to the rates of reaction? If I am taking D2O and in my body, student, what will happen? What is going to happen? If I take D2O in my body, water is being used, H2O, LR. What is the result of this D2O? The reactions will be slower or faster?
They will be slower.
They will be slower. And then what will happen? The dissociation enthalpy is also more, and this will decrease the rate of the reaction. So the result will be, what will happen? Then the water role which it is doing in our body, student, it will not be possible. Such a thing will not be possible, and survival will not be possible. See, everything in science we try to explain. Sometimes questions are put based on that. How just change of one isotope to another, how it will affect. And because water is 70% of us, we are water, student, and you know how much it is in use and what is the use of it. Now the question is about the preparation of the dihydrogen. And you know that in the lab you are aware, student, you have read about lab metal plus acid. What do you get? Salt and hydrogen gas. So if you have Zn and you react with HCl, students, in the chemistry lab, what you get? You are aware of this reaction. These are some of the ways they can be prepared, student. At the same time, you also know certain metals, when they are reacted with bases, students, they also produce, students, salt and hydrogen. We are aware of these reactions, students. Okay? So
Yes, sir.
what they do, if I react zinc with NaOH student. What will happen? Zinc will form a salt with it, Na2 ZNO2 student, and hydrogen gas. So lab methods are there, have been used in our chemistry labs. We can do these experiments. They have done it with the zinc student. About the commercial production students, water, you know that if I break the water, what will happen? How will you break the water student to get hydrogen? And you know, one of the source of hydrogen gas is water. And hydrogen is a future, for the future student energy, hydrogen gas will be used. But because of the problem of transportation and storage, you see, it's flammable. But if we break this, what will we get, student? Why not this? Then you will get this. But how will you break it, student? Electrolytic process, student.
Yes.
But how electrolytic process, student? Because you are saying there is some H plus and OH minus in the water, but that concentration is very small. The concentration of H and OH plus is very small, student. This will be produced at what? At the cathode, reduction will take place. At the cathode, student, this reduction is going to take place. We are saying that, but the question is, student, the concentration of these are very small. Therefore, instead of pure water, we use acidified water. This will increase, student. This will increase the amount of H plus in the solution, student. And the result of that is, students, if you have to add traces of H plus acid, and then on electrolysis of acidified water, I'm saying, will produce hydrogen gas and oxygen gas, student. And also, students, we can produce as a byproduct in the manufacture of sodium hydroxide and chlorine by electrolysis of brine solution, student. What is a brine solution, student?
Aqueous solution of sodium chloride.
If I have, student, Na plus Cl minus and you have H2O, a lot of water is there. So water, you are saying you have H plus and OH minus ions. We know in electrochemistry, student, based on the values of the electrode potentials, which reaction will take place when we will do the electrolysis. If I use, students, the platinum electrodes at anode, student, what will we get? This is undergoing oxidation at cathode, students. What happens to the water, student? Water is reduced, student. Water is reduced, and what you will get, student, reduction of water will produce two hydrogen gas, student, and you will get 2OH aqueous. And the result of this is what, student? You will produce at cathode. Sometimes they ask you to write the electrode reactions. In electrolytic process, what is important? The reactions which take place at anode and at cathode. These two things are important. So at cathode, you will get hydrogen gas, student. And the result of that will be you have sodium ions and you have OH minus and you will get NaOH, student. So the result of this is that you are able to prepare this byproduct in the manufacture of sodium hydroxide is obtained and chlorine gas is obtained, student, at the anode. You will get Cl2 gas. So this is one of the way which has been used for the preparation of the dihydrogen gas. What is important are some of the reactions too. And you know that hydrocarbons or carbon student, carbon is coke or coal. Okay? When reaction of steam on hydrocarbons, steam. What is steam student? H2O. When this is reacted with carbon student, what is carbon? What we call as a coke. At high temperature students, in the presence of some catalyst, but you can get student dihydrogen gas, and this is was carbon. You have hydrocarbons, different hydrocarbons. You know petroleum products. What is the petroleum product? They are hydrocarbons. Petroleum products are hydrocarbons. What do you have? Octane in the filling cylinder student. When you are filling hydrocarbons, when they are reacted with the steam at high temperature, you can see here. This is a hydrocarbon student. Temperature 1270 in the presence of a catalyst student. This is nothing but steam. And you are getting carbon monoxide and hydrogen gas. Here, if I use methane student, and this is my steam, high temperature in the presence of a catalyst, you get CO and hydrogen. This mixture of CO and H2 is called water gas. There was a question, student. Water gas. What is water gas, student? What is water gas? Mixture of carbon monoxide and H2.
Carbon monoxide and hydrogen.
This is called water gas. And this is also called syngas. What is syngas? Because it is used for syngas, student. It is used for synthesis. It is used for synthesis of organic compounds like methanol and hydrocarbons. Therefore, it is also called syngas or synthesis gas. Synthesis of alcohol and hydrocarbons can be done by this. And it is produced also from sewage. Sewage, students. Sewage. And what is it called? Sawdust. Scrap wood, newspapers, etc. Student. This process of producing syngas from coal. Syngas can be produced from coal. From coal, students. This process is called coal gasification because coal is solid. You are making gas out of it. So from coal, this process is called coal gasification. Students, the names are important because they may ask you what is coal gasification. What is coal gasification here? I talked of water gas, syngas, and third being coal gasification. Students, carbon, coal is burnt, student. This is your steam. Temperature is high. You get COG and H2O. Mixture of this, what you get is water gas. So you can produce water gas, students. Water gas is a combustion fuel containing carbon monoxide and hydrogen gas. They have asked this question somewhere with 4 choices. Water gas is water gas, gas of water, student, that is CO and H2. Another important reaction which has been asked here is water gas shift reaction. Water gas shift reaction. This is a name given to water gas made using the water gas shift reaction to obtain pure hydrogen. What they do, student? If you want to obtain pure hydrogen, if you want to obtain, student, pure hydrogen, you use water gas shift reaction. What we are doing here, or at least enriched hydrogen, means there will be more hydrogen and less of CO, student. Carbon monoxide from initial reaction is reacted with water to remove carbon dioxide. This is our carbon monoxide which is produced in the reaction which we have just shown you. The reaction which I just showed you, student, the syngas. What is the syngas or water gas? The water gas, student, what we do? The carbon monoxide of the initial reaction is then reacted with water gas. What will be the result of that? It will produce carbon dioxide, okay, and hydrogen gas. Student. So what is they do? Carbon dioxide is removed by scrubbing with sodium arsenide. Carbon dioxide gas is removed by scrubbing, student, by scrubbing with sodium arsenide solution. Arsenide solution. So what you get is a pure hydrogen or enriched hydrogen, large amounts of hydrogen gas. And today 77% of the dihydrogen is produced from petrochemicals. Petrochemicals, student. Petroleum products are very costly, you know. Petrochemicals, they produce, student, large amount of dihydrogen. 77% is obtained from this dihydrogen, and also from coal you are getting 4% coal, and electrolysis of some other source. Now the question is, student, it is a colorless gas, odorless gas, combustible gas, we know. Colorless, odorless, combustible gas. Okay, and is lighter than air, student, insoluble in water. Insoluble in water, student. Its other physical properties are, we have already discussed, students, some of the physical properties of this dihydrogen. Why do I give this information? You know, in many papers, we have seen nowadays in many exams, what is happening? They are giving, there is a gas X. They are giving some properties of the gas. Even they are giving color, physical properties. Those clues are used in identifying the gas, students. You have seen in one of the sample papers. Chlorine gas question was there. That there is a greenish color gas. And then they have given some clues. Identify the gas. Cryogenic gas, students. So the gases are becoming important. And today, oxygen, dioxygen is becoming very important, student, for life. This is the first time you are experiencing how much is dioxygen useful. See, people are dying because of the deficiency of dioxygen in our country. And how much emergency is there now? As you see, dioxygen, which is present in air, student. When it comes to use, student, then we understand. How will you produce dioxygen when you need it? And this is all chemistry now. All chemistry. Preparation of dioxygen is a vital question, present moment. And the gases, how they are stored in cylinders and transported, students. Unless you see, when we get a need of something, then we realize, oh my God, that is a state. Chemistry is so important, so important. And these chemical reactions will be used to produce the gases which we need in Second World War also, and in the defense also. All the things which you are using, student, they are all chemicals, compounds, chemistry. And you can see the corona crisis, biochemistry is handling it, whatever vaccinations are coming. So chemistry is one subject, student, you will need it each and every moment. That's my point. Every moment, every second, everything we are doing, we are created, student, our bodies, everything is chemistry, all chemical reactions, chemical changes are taking place. So why do we give this information, student? Because I believe that this information could become a question in a given paper in terms of X gas, and then he will write. So identification of the gas, sometimes we do by their physical properties also. When we talk of the chemical behavior, student, chemical behavior. There is a physical behavior, color, order, and identity is not changing. But when we talk of chemical behavior, student, this will involve bond dissociation. H bond is there, student, it has to be dissociated if it wants to react. So that will involve bond dissociation enthalpy. It will mean what is the bond dissociation enthalpy. And you will see that this value is for hydrogen is very high. The bond dissociation enthalpy of hydrogen is a single bond, it is very high. In fact, the bond dissociation enthalpy of this is the highest for a single bond. Highest for a single bond. Why? You know that how small it is and how much effective overlap will take place. You have 1s1 and you have another hydrogen, 1s1 students. And what will happen? They will overlap. Very effective overlap will take place. Size is very small. The bond strength depends on how effective is the overlap, student, here. So the dissociation, this is very important, that dissociation of dihydrogen into atom is only this dissociation, student, is very small, only at 2000 Kelvin, student, is about 0.081%. At temperature this much high, and at 5000 Kelvin it becomes 95.5% dissociation. So what is happening at the solar system, sun and stars, or there are planets, student, you know, one of the planet which is all hydrogen gas, dihydrogen, because the bond enthalpy is very high and you will need very high temperatures to break it. So it is relatively inert at room temperature. Inert at room temperature, students, at room temperature, due to high bond dissociation, and atomic hydrogen is produced only at high temperature. What I am trying to tell you, atomic hydrogen, H, this will be produced at what temperature? At very high temperature. You know, how do we create very high temperature, students? How do we create very high temperature in science, students? You have heard about electric arc? They create very high temperature by electric arc, student. Highly ionized particles are there. Or, there is some UV radiations. When we use light, students. So important point, since its orbital is incomplete, student, it can combine with almost all. Further what I'm talking, student, that it is 1s1 student finally. So it needs 1 electron, student, to go to 1s2. Then what will happen, student? It does combine with almost all the elements. It does combine with almost all the elements, students. Therefore, student, it will form very large number of compounds, very large number of compound, students. So there are two possibilities, students. It can combine. How it can combine, students? If it loss of electron takes place, then what it will form? H plus and E. And if it gains electron, students, what you get is a hydride ion, student.
Yes, sir.
So the loss of electron or gain of electron to form, when you know what happens, student, the sharing of electrons. Sharing of electrons to will form what, student? If it shares electrons with something else, student, what will happen? Covalent bond.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So all these possibilities are there. All these possibilities are there, student. It's clear that probably the largest number of compounds are being formed by the hydrogen. Largest number of compounds. You see everywhere hydrogen, hydrocarbons, all you are talking hydrocarbons, hydrogen, water has hydrogen, student. And yeah, it forms compounds, and see, cannot exist as atomic form at room temperature, but in solar system, in the universe, what do you have? Hydrogen, dihydrogen, student. Dihydrogen is present. Dihydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe. You already know about that. Dihydrogen. They have asked a question on this. Dihydrogen, most abundant element in the, what I said? What I said? Earth, I said, or universe, I said, or what I said? Water, or what I said?
Most abundant in the universe.
Universe, because they will give you 4 choices. Earth is not the universe, it is only a small part of that.
Yes.
Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Because it is very light. Therefore, it is not, you don't have hydrogen gas in the atmosphere. Do you have it? You have only in the form of water. See, where is hydrogen in our H2O? But in the universe, students, what happens? In the stars and sun, solar systems, you see, you have hydrogen. 70% of the total mass of the universe, student. 70% of the total mass of the universe. Important. And solar system, the principal element in solar atmosphere. Solar atmosphere, you have very high temperature, student. The principal element, the giant planet Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter and Saturn, they, what is they having? Mostly hydrogen. Mostly hydrogen, student. Dekho, when we study science or anything, small information is very important for us, student, because we don't know other. How do we get the information? When we read, when we get the information, we can't reach the Jupiter or Saturn, but whatever data is available. Okay? So,
Yes, sir.
because it is light, it is much less abundant, 0.15% by mass in Earth. 0.15% by mass, student. Why? Because it is very light. It is very light. Okay? But in the combined form, student, in the combined form, combined means you see H2O and other compounds, 15.4% of earth crust. What is that? Earth crust, student, and ocean. What do you have in the oceans? H2O. So 15.4% is there. Okay? And also present, student, in the oceans, in the water, in the plants, in the animal tissues, and in the food you are using carbohydrates, students. All these carbohydrates, proteins, etc. Hydrocarbons, petroleum products, all these have got what, student? These have got
Hydrogen in them.
hydrogen. Okay, so important. Okay, let us see then what will happen to the reactions of the hydrogen, student. Reactions. It reacts with the halogen, students. What will happen? You have hydrogen gas. You have halogen, student. What will be the product, student? You will get 2HX gas, student. If I react hydrogen plus chlorine, student, you will get 2HCl gas, student. So it will react with halogens. You know that what type of this HCl molecule you have already seen, student. So the reaction with fluorine is very fast. You will see that H2 plus F2, this reaction is very fast because fluorine is highly reactive, is the strongest oxidizing agent. Even this reaction will occur in dark, and with iodine, student, you will need a catalyst. H2 plus I2. So they require light, student. You know that these are free radicals.
Yes, sir.
Free radicals.
Yes, sir.
And this will not take place in dark, will require a catalyst to form HI. So this information is already with us. Further, student, we know dioxygen react with water with oxygen. What will happen, student? What will happen? You will get water. Will it take place so easily? It looks like that. You know where I used this reaction? Where I have used this reaction? Where did I use this reaction? Can you tell me, students? Because this reaction is highly exothermic.
Electrolysis, we use this in the reverse form.
Electrolysis, I'm not used in electrolysis. I have used a fuel cell, student, which is used for producing energy, and by the astronauts also it was used.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The most efficient. But you can see that this requires what bond breaking and what bond formation. A lot of energy is being released, student. This reaction is going to be very, very exothermic. And this is a blast actually. So much energy will be released. What we write, student, is not going to take place that I take hydrogen, oxygen, I mix. No. You see that this will require catalyst, this will require heating, students. And I have already given you an idea where we used it, a fuel cell, students, how it was used. This is a highly exothermic reaction. So that energy they were using for producing electrical energy, student, which was used in the astronauts, because water was produced during this reaction and that produced a continuous cell, student, which they say will be used a lot in the future fuel cell because it's solution free and produces. The important point to note is what you are breaking HH, O double bond O, and what you are producing, student, OH bonds. The formation of OH bond is very, very exothermic. It releases a lot of energy. Interesting. See, the chemistry has got energy in it. Bonds have got energy in them. Breaking of the bond requires energy. Formation of the bond releases energy. and that OH bond is releasing so much energy, students. The value is so high, that value is around, the delta H for this reaction is around, student, minus 285.9 kilojoule per mole. So we should be able to use that energy somewhere, students. See how much exothermic the reactions are. If a reaction could take place like so easily, student, then the world would not be there. If activation energy is zero, then everything is reacting. It is all over. All over, students. You can see that everything needs energy. Everything needs energy. Anything to happen needs energy, and there will be energy changes when the reactions takes place. So we have started understanding those points. Student, where is the energy? These are energies are present in the chemical bonds. And further, student, reaction, it can react with the dinitrogen. Student, you are so well aware that a reaction which is so important, student, and to gas and hydrogen gas produces what, student?
NH3.
And this is so important, student, you balance it, then what you will get, this reaction is so important because ammonia is a great use, student, but this reaction conditions are important. You know what catalyst is used in the this reaction, student? Question was asked in the paper. Which catalyst is used in this reaction, student, in the manufacture of
Iron.
iron was used, probably some promoter was also used in this reaction.
Molybdenum.
Okay. In the catalytic reaction, you see how much conditions. Conditions are very important for the formation of any product in chemistry, student. And this reaction is also exothermic and is used. This is what we call as a Haber's process, and this finds great use in fertilizer, students. So that was very, very important product in the industries. Further, students, this hydrogen is important because it can also react with, students, organic compounds and with metal, student. Hydrogen gas can react with some metal, student. What will happen? It will act as a reducing agent. In aqueous solution, student, if I use aqueous solution, what can happen then? Then it can reduce, student. It can reduce them and form H plus, student. So reduction of metal is possible, which we do use for the reduction of this, and with organic compounds also, many organic compounds, students, in the presence of catalyst, you know, hydrogenation reactions. You have hydrogenation reaction, student. We have done so much of that. Double bond compound, student, hydrogen. Yeah, what catalyst you are using, student? Palladium, platinum, or nickel, etc. catalyst, and you get hydrogenation. The vegetable oils, okay, are converted into vanaspati ghee, student. So unsaturated fats into saturated fats, student. These reactions are known for the hydrogen reduction reaction. So reaction with vegetable oil, students, okay, using nickel as a catalyst, as we said, nickel as a catalyst. So what you get, vanaspati ghee from that. Vanaspati ghee. Hydroformylation of olefins. What is a hydroformylation reaction? As you can see, students, olefins, they are being treated with hydrogen and carbon monoxide, student, and what you are getting? Aldehydes. And these are alcohols, student. Alcohols. So these are some of the reactions by which we can prepare or some organic compounds also. Organic compounds, students. And some of the important uses You know, manufacture of ammonia, we have just told you. This is largely used, student, in the industries. Manufacture of nitric acid, and nitrogenous fertilizer, students. Fertilizers are of great demand by the farmers. Manufacture of fat, vanaspati fat, student, and it is also used in the manufacture of methanol. Manufacture of methanol, student. Very important reaction is there. Carbon monoxide and hydrogen gas, student, in the presence of a cobalt catalyst. These are very specific reactions, student, which are being used in the industries. They are being used hydrides, and it is also used for the manufacture of hydrochloric acid, student. HCl is being used a lot, and it is being used. Atomic hydrogen is also used, student. Atomic hydrogen is produced at high temperature, at very high. We have shown you how much is the bond dissociation enthalpy is very high. So they use oxy hydrogen torches. This question has been asked in the paper. Oxy hydrogen torches, students. What they do, student, they will create very high temperatures, because you see the atomic hydrogen is produced, it will be producing large amount of energy. Okay? With the help of electric are allowed to recombine on the surface, student. When hydrogen, if you produce atomic hydrogen, you have electric arc, student. They will produce atomic hydrogen, and when they will combine, student, to form H2, then what will happen, student? They will release large amount of energy. Okay? So they will release large amount of energy, and the temperatures will rise to 4000 Kelvin. So what will be the use of that? This is used, student, when you want to weld the surfaces and generate very high temperature for cutting and welding. So it is used for cutting and welding purposes, student, because there is so much energy involved in that. And is a rocket fuel, student. Rocket fuel, because there is so much energy in it. And these fuel cells, which I told you, student, they are the future sources of energy to generate, student, electrical energy. Fuel cells are used to generate clean electrical energy, and efficiency is very high as compared to thermal and other energy. Clean electrical energy is being produced by the hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. No pollution, and the efficiency is higher. It releases greater energy per unit mass of the fuel in comparison to gasoline and other, because you know the hydrogen is the lightest element, students. So that ends up the story of the dihydrogen gas, students. It's important and very, very important information we have given to you, which could be used anywhere. Okay, then we will see you in the next class, students.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.